Good evening. Welcome to On Deck here on FTSN. Hope everybody's having a good night. Anthony, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Pitchers and catchers just report spring training right around the corner. I think we got one more week and everybody reports. So, baseball, I'm smelling in the air. I'm ready to go. Football just ended, so it's baseball season right now. Let's go. Pitchers and catchers reported. Did get some signings. Feels like every time I do one of these shows, I do the check down with Bobby and Dave Stanger on Friday nights, and every time we end the show, right after some news hits, it feels like the same thing. It feels like the same thing with this show because right after I ended on Wednesday night, what happens? It's Russ with the U, but I'll get you right after this happens. Pete Alonso signs up nice 2-year, $54 million deal with the player opt out after this year. So he's definitely trying to set him up for a big year to kind of bet on himself for next year. Did reject a 7-year, $158 million deal from the Mets earlier. So it definitely, I'm pretty sure he parted ways with Scott Boras too. So Boras is definitely starting to lose a couple clients, I think. But that's a good pickup for the Mets, definitely to keep him in-house. Homegrown guy. But definitely betting him on himself with that. Let me get to your question, Russ. In terms of young pitchers in the league right now that are under 30, who do you think is the closest terms of how he pitches? I don't know. I think Pete Alonso, the polar bear, I think is overestimating the value, to be honest. I think, honestly, in my opinion, with the first base market this offseason is I feel a lot of there's the big lefty from Japan's coming over next year. He's a third baseman, but projected to play first base. I think a lot of teams who are on that first base market, such as the Yankees too, didn't want to commit to a long-term deal for a guy like Alonso. That's why you saw the Yankees go Goldschmidt. So I had a feeling like the first base market was very, very kind of slow. Obviously, you see Rizzo still out there, who still can give you some quality at bats, and when healthy is a solid defensive player. But I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think the first base market is slow because a handful of teams are looking for the 26 market. I think it's probably a good thing for him. He's going to be, that lineup's going to lengthen. You're going to hit behind Soto. Most likely it could be Vientos. But I think that's good for him. If he puts up a 40 home run number, which we see him do easily, a 40 would be light for him. He's definitely going to cash out big time. And like how a guy like a Bob Gibson, I can't answer that. Young pitchers I really like right now. Obviously, everybody loves Paul Skeens. I like Paul Skeens personally as a guy and a baseball player. Jared Jones is another guy I scouted I really enjoy. Young guys I'm looking for, I'll bring him up a little later. A little Kyle Harrison. I like Kyle Harrison out of De La Salle High School in Northern California. Rhett Lauder guy who's out of Wake Forest. I saw him go toe-to-toe with Skeens. I hope Luis Gil continues. He definitely, Gil's looking good. I don't think he's going to put up the stats you think he is. I still think 40 would be a light number for him. I mean, they said that. I mean, I think Judge's numbers would go down a little bit with Soto. I think it just. I'm going to say 40 would be a solid number. 20. I think 25, 35. In my opinion, it's I could be 100% wrong, just like you could be wrong, Anthony. I don't. What the hell do I know? I'm just making my own opinion. It's a guess. I think 40 would be light. I could see 40 and 45. I thought Judge would have a lower. In my opinion, I thought Judge would have a little down year with Soto taken away from him, and he had a massive year, even though his playoffs weren't as good. He had a better MVP year than in what, 20, was it 22? Yeah, 22, 23, 23. So we shall see. I mean, I could be totally wrong, and shoot, it's baseball. You're wrong majority of the time anyway. So I mean, but Anthony, where do you think Bregman's going? I mean, we're starting to get a little Bregman news. Obviously, they're looking like he's going to sign soon. They're saying Cubs, Red Sox. Are they? The Judge isn't really power. I mean, Soto's not really power bat as much as you think. The guy is definitely, his eye is great. Alonso straight power bat, dude. I wouldn't say Judge and Soto are very similar at bat. Yes, they have the power numbers, but Judge, Soto at the plate, that guy's eye, that guy's plate discipline, the guy, the way he works the count is out of this world. I don't think Alonso and Soto are very similar at all. He's more a power guy, gap to gap, gap to gap guy. I don't think he goes back. In my opinion, I mean, they're saying he's going to sign soon. They're saying Cubs, Red Sox, Tigers. I've been hearing the Red Sox are on him, so if the Red Sox are on him, he would move to second base. I hope he goes for the Cubs because get him out of. I don't want him in the AL East, but I'm hearing the Red Sox. I think the Cubs are kind of intriguing too. See what they do because they do have, was it Matt Bush in there lined up, prospect to be that third baseman. I think the Tigers are very interesting because, I mean, young team on the up, good starting pitcher, need another bat, and they have his manager. Oh, don't even bring that up. Well, there is no luxury tax. I mean, they're already paying the luxury tax, so it doesn't matter. But I think the Tigers are interesting because young team, they kind of could use another bat, and his manager, A.J. Hinch, is there. I think that'd be a good fit, even though right-handed hitters don't hit as well in Comiskey Park. But I think that'd be an interesting one. I'm hearing Red Sox are the leader in the clubhouse right now. I hope the Cubs, because maybe that opens up a Nico Horner getting put on the market. The Yankees kind of could use a second baseman, third baseman. Preferably a third baseman. I'd rather have Jazz at third. But, I mean, as you can see, he can play a serviceable third base. The Dodgers don't need him, but I mean, they're already on that luxury tax threshold. So I mean, how much more can it go up? I'm hearing maybe Arenado. Arenado would be Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers all in on him. I think the Yankees are kind of cooling on him a little bit, and the Red Sox are kind of waiting on Bregman. I just don't know what Bregman is looking for anymore. If he's trying to secure that short-term deal, or does he still want that six-year deal? We got Kershaw's back with the Dodgers for his 18th season. We'll see if he pitches. Kenley Jansen heading back to the West Coast with the Angels, 1 year, $10 million. And then Nick Pivetta is another big pitcher on the market. He's been on for a while. I think the qualifying and all the news I've heard, the qualifying offer that he received from the Red Sox has hurt his ability to sign elsewhere because no one wants to give up draft compensation for him. So I'm hearing the Red Sox are working on a deal to try to get him back. But as that is, that nobody wants to give up draft compensation for him. Let me get to this real quick. I think he would rather stay in the West, so maybe I think AL West or NL West. Arizona. No one expects the Diamondbacks to get that starter they signed. What starter are you talking about? Are there any big time trades you can see? Trades. I think the Arenado, in my opinion, I think the Arenado one's probably the biggest one. The Marlins is tough. I was kind of going into, and I even talked to my producer who's a Marlins fan. going into the year with the Marlins, I was a little higher on the Marlins when they had Berger. They had a lot of young guys: Connor Norby, Kyle Stowers, Xavier Edwards is solid. The pitching staff, if they come back healthy, was good. And then they make that trade. Alcada is looking, from all the reports of the last couple of days, Sandy Alcada is looking solid. So I could see them trying to hold on to him for a while, let him come back, let him get healthy, and then try to move him at the deadline. I could see that happening. Big trades, probably Arenado is probably the biggest one we'll see right now. He's the hottest name. Cease is another one. Dylan Cease with the Padres, and Michael King. Corbin Burns. Yeah, I don't see the Diamondbacks doing that. They have what's his name? I'll forget. They got a third baseman right now. I don't see them doing that, but I could see Cease is another one who's on there. The Orioles are in on him, and Michael King's another one. I think Cease is more likely to go, but they are with the Orioles. I've heard they're going for Basillo. They want Basillo and I think it's Cody Mayo, who are their two top prospects for Cease. So that's kind of stalling that. But I don't really see too many big trades happening in spring training right now. Besides the Arenado deal, I could see maybe Alcada and the Marlins being active at the deadline. Jordan Montgomery probably would be another name with the Diamondbacks. You could see it definitely if he has a strong spring. You could see them moving them because they have a solid rotation right now. But besides Arenado, I don't see many big-time trades. I see that happening, but I think hanging up with the Arenado thing, he does have 3 years remaining on his contract for $74 million. So I think that's hanging up teams a little bit. Maybe a Marcus Stroman, but I think that's also hanging up. I think the Stroman is hanging up his $18 million on the deal, so the Yankees would have had to eat some money. I hope they kind of do that, but I don't know. I can see the Orioles going for cheaper options back in the bullpen. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they want. I think me being a guy who scouted for a couple of years, I think sometimes these MLB teams, in my opinion, fall in love with their prospects. And as baseball fans know, a lot of these prospects, even as high as they are rated, sometimes they don't pan out. Baseball's probably the toughest sport in all sports to make it from the minor leagues to the major leagues. I think they fall in love with some of their prospects, and like we're seeing with the Dodgers have a very solid farm system, and they trade from that farm system to get players to help the big league club, and we're seeing it now, and that's why. I mean, now we're starting to see the Dodgers with the salary, with them in the luxury tax hitting. But when it was 2016 to 2020, they had a lot of young guys that they could make those trades to get the Manny Machados, to get the Max Scherzers, to trade from their depth. So I just think the Orioles love some of those prospects, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Those are some good prospects, but I don't know. But I'm going to jump into my top. I got like top. I went top 5, but I got more like top 7 staffs in my opinion. Some sneaky staffs I'm watching. Giants. I think the Giants could be sneaky good. You got Logan Webb, solid number 1. You got Robbie Ray coming back from injury. You add Justin Verlander, who's not going to have to be that number 1 guy. You got Jordan Hicks, and then you got Kyle Harrison, who's a young guy I'm really high on. Really nice little lefty. I like the Tigers. You obviously got your Cy Young, Tarek Skubal, one of the best pitchers in baseball. You pick up Jack Flaherty from the Dodgers, come back to Detroit. You get Casey Mize back, who was a number 1 pick out of Auburn. Maybe Jackson Jobe got a little cup of coffee. I could see him coming up. Obviously, everyone's high on Pittsburgh, you got Paul Skeens, you got Mitch Kelly, you got Jared Jones, but they got a lot of young guys there who could maybe make uh, uh, a little noise. But obviously, you got Skeens, Keller, and Jones. That's a solid, really young core. The one I'm actually really intrigued by on pitching rotation is the Reds. And I'm really, really high on the Reds, not just because that pitching staff, the players are getting back offensively, but also you get Tito back. You get Terry Francona, probably one of the best managers in baseball, took that year off. So that's a hell of a sign. But, I mean, you got Hunter Green, you add Brady Singer, you got Abbott, you got Nick Lodo, you got Martinez, you got Wade Miley, and then a guy I really like is Rhett Lauder. But to go into my top 7, at number 7, I got the Cubs with Imanaga, Justin Steele, Jameis Tyone. You add Matthew Boyd from the Indians and Colin Ray from the Brewers. And then I got Seattle. It's got Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby. I don't know, Miller, and Connor Wu. Going into my top 5, make my guy Rob Mosley a little happy. I got the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox got a nice young core. You obviously add your front of the line guy, Garrett Crochet. We'll see how many innings he can eat because he was a reliever for a while there. You add Bello. You have Bryson Bello coming back. You have Tanner Houck. You add Walker Buehler. Lucas Giolito hope will come back strong, and then Cutter Crawford. I got the Yankees at 4. I had them at 3. I just switched right now. I got them at 4. I mean, you got Cole, you add Max Fried, Rendon, strong year last year. Clark Schmidt, hopefully he can stay healthy the first year. Rookie of the year, Luis Heel. So, I mean, that's pretty solid. We'll see if they can all stay healthy. Hopefully they can. Fried's had some injury history. So is Rendon. Hopefully it's not a Rendon, on-off year. 3, I got the Phillies with the best, probably the best, one of the better 1-2s in baseball. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. You got Ranger Suarez. You add Jesus Luardo, and you got Sanchez. But obviously everybody knows the number 1 staff. Number 2 would be the D-backs. I think this D-backs can be a sneaky team in the NL West to compete with the Dodgers because of that pitching staff. You add Corbin Burns, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. You have Zach Gallen. You have Kelly. You have Eduardo Rodriguez. You got, Frat. And then you have Jordan Montgomery. It's kind of the question mark. I think they're going to try to ship him off. But I think they can compete. In my opinion, I think they can compete in the NL West this year. But obviously, everybody knows the Dodgers' best rotation on paper. You add Blake Snell. You have Yamamoto. You have Glasnow, who's never really been able to stay healthy. You got Ohtani coming back, should be April, May time. You add Sasaki, and then you got Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin, who have been out a couple years. But that's the best rotation in baseball on paper for sure. So, I mean, those are my top, I would say, 7 rotations. For me, my top 10, I got top 11 pitchers. I went 10, but I got Framber Valdez at 11, who Framber Valdez had a hell of a year, 15-7, 2.91 ERA, 176 innings pitched, 111 whip. Carson Fulmer, guys kind of fell off. Was a hell of a college starter. I got Crochet at 11A, 11B, so they're both pretty similar. I think he's going to have a big year with the Red Sox. I got Logan Gilbert with Seattle's. That's going to be a sneaky, really good rotation at 10. I got Logan Webb at 9 Logan Webb stats. I think it's going to be a solid year. I was looking for it. I can't seem to find it. At 8, I got Cole Ragans, 11-9. So it wasn't a great year. 186 innings pitched, 314. I think he's going to have a big year. I think the Royals are going to be a team to watch this year. I got Blake Snell. Blake Snell had a very down year with San Francisco. I think that was a key for him missing a lot of spring training. I think these pitchers are definitely need that time to ramp it up. I think that kind of hurt him getting hurt. He had a strong second half, so I think he's going to be pretty big. And you're not going to expect much of him with that pitching staff with the Dodgers. He's not going to come out and have to throw 7, 8 innings, 9 times all the time. You give him 5, you give him 6 with that bullpen, you're going to be solid. Give him five solid innings and throw to that bullpen. It's going to be solid. I got Garrett Cole at 6. What was Cole's? I mean, we all know what Cole is. We need Cole to get back to what he was for the Yankees. They need him to be that frontline guy that he looked like in the postseason. He looked like that, but he definitely, him being hurt, kind of, hurt the team. Kevin Cronin, he was 8. Setup man for Miami in front of the kid that I got from Carson Fulmer. Carson Fulmer. You mean Carson Fulmer? I don't think he was with the Orioles last year. I think you're thinking of the setup guy they traded. And I could be wrong. I got Sale at 5. We all know what Chris Sale did last year. Obviously, Chris Sale, 18-3, 2.83 ERA, 177 innings pitched, 225 Ks. I mean, if the Braves are definitely going to need Sale to have a very similar year with what they lost in the rotation if they want to keep on competing with the Phillies, with the Mets in the East, and sneaky. The Nationals could be a sneaky good team there too in the NL East. So I mean, they're definitely going to need Sale to have that similar type of performance. You don't know what you're going to get back from Spencer Strider. At 4, I got Corbin Burns. I think that was the best signing all year. Corbin Burns, 2.92 ERA, 15-9, 194 innings pitched, 181 Ks, 110 WHIP. I mean, he's going to be that frontline guy in the desert there. I think that's going to be solid for him. I think he's going to be that. He's going to be that dude. And I could see the D-backs making a little noise I think a wild card's probably where it is because of what the Dodgers, but it's baseball. Who knows? It's baseball. I think they can compete. Baseball, pitching wins championships. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think they can beat. I got Paul Skeens at 3. Love this kid. Obviously, he only pitched. Give me where's Skeens? Pitcher. I'm going to get his stats. Skeen's stats last year were, for a guy who only pitched 23 game starts, 11-3, 133 innings, 170 Ks and 130. Insane. A 9.5 WHIP. His ERA was 1.96. I think this guy's the future of baseball. And it's probably a great guy to be the future of baseball because this guy is what you want to mold the game around. I mean, this guy just loves the game, is a stand-up guy. I think this is unbelievable. At 2, I got Zach Wheeler. I got Zach Wheeler too. Obviously, the frontline guy with the Phillies. He was 16-7, 200 innings pitched, 2.57 ERA, 224 Ks. I mean, what you not too much you to say about that. But the number one guy, the guy I love, besides Paul Skeens, the young guy I love, it's Tarek Skubal. I think this guy's is the future of baseball. Him and Skeens. His changeup, I love his changeup. And being a guy who coached and scouted any young players out there, develop that changeup because this guy pitches from the strength of his changeup. And his changeup is strength and it's an out pitch. It is unbelievable. So, young players out there going into pitching, obviously develop your fastball and your changeup 1-2. Don't worry about any other pitches. When you're young, I don't like my guys throwing a curveball until you get to high school because your arm's still growing. Develop that changeup, and this is what Tarek Skubal does best. Obviously, the AL Cy Young almost took that Tigers team to the ALCS. 2.39 ERA, 192 innings pitched, 228 Ks, 0.92 WHIP. I think this guy's the best pitcher in baseball, and I know my opinion is a little different than other teams' opinions, but I mean, in my opinion, I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. And I love the changeup. Guy throws the changeup from his strength. It's his strength. I absolutely love the changeup. So, I mean, what do you think? Anybody out there, what do you think of my list? Anybody got different opinions? Everything's opinion. I could be totally wrong. I don't care. Any different opinions? Who's got their I think Skubal's the best pitcher in baseball, and I think he bounces back. I think he's the favorite for the AL Cy Young again. I mean, Anthony, I know you're a Yankees fan. You got any ideas? Anybody Yankees looking at you like? I want Nico Horner. Even though I'd like to see Chisholm get back to his natural position as second base, I like Nico Horner. Was it Brian Hayes is another guy, but I don't think they trade him. I really don't want Nolan Arenado all that bad. I could see that being a nice pickup. Horner would be a solid pickup. Guy could probably say second, maybe play a little third. But I'm getting stoked. Spring training baseballs are right around the corner. Right around the corner, and the first game's the 28th. So I'm getting pumped up. I got some guys. I'm looking at I got 4 pitchers. I'm really kind of looking at some younger guys and some guys coming back from injury. Coomer Rocker's a name. Pitcher coming out of Vanderbilt. Was the 10th overall pick by the Mets, but failed his physical. So went back, played indie ball, got drafted by the Tigers. Guy was a stud. The headliner of the 2009 World Series team that featured Al Leiter's son, Jack Leiter, debuted in September last year, averages 96 with the fastball, mid-80s power slider. And I mean, it's a solid. He might not be getting up right away because it's a solid. You got Nathan Valdi, you got DeGrom coming back, you got John Gray. So he might not be getting up right away, but I think this guy, middle of the year, could make a serious impact. The other guy I'm looking for is one of the other guys would be Shane McClanahan with the Rays. Established himself as one of the best pitchers from 21 to 23. Made the All-Star team 2 out of 3 years he was pitching. But this guy at 27's got an explosive 90 fastball, wipeout changeup, and curveball. 2-time All-Star. I think this is going to be a nice bounce-back year for McClanahan. Another guy I'm looking at is Jacob Mizorowski from the Brewers. Got some of the best stuff of any pitching prospect in baseball. Fastball has reached triple digits frequently. Slider sitting 93 and a mid-80s curveball. Got an invite to camp. will be interesting to see if he breaks with the club because that pitching staff is thin. The last guy I'm identifying, which is very interesting because he got drafted last year, would be Chase Burns. Electric stuff. Got called ranked is ranked 26th out of 100. Fastball, 102 fastball, upper 80s slider. Might be one of the best pitchers. Might be one of the best pitches thrown by any baseball prospect. Maybe this guy flies through the system. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he flies through the system. I could see it happening. These college guys fly a lot quicker. But, I mean, I'm pumped up for the season. There's a lot of great pitching, which I love to see. I'm really, really wanting to see where Bregman signs. I think the Red Sox, please no, but I think the Red Sox I want to next week get into some hitting. We're going to have spring training right there. A little more hitting as we get into it. A little more position players. But I'm stoked. Spring training here. Baseball right around the corner. A little over a month. So I'm pretty pumped up for that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe. I'm Russ Morgan. This is On Deck here on FTSN. You guys have a great night.